Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. All right, so Gemini, tonight we have the Knight of Swords as our card. So this kind of brings in an energy. I always go ahead and pull a card before I do the reading, and it kind of just sets a tone. It doesn't mean that anything is really going to have to do with the Knight of Swords, but sometimes, yeah, it really does. It really shapes kind of the atmosphere of the reading. And so we know that the swords are all about air, and air is all about, yeah, that mental logic, reasoning, creativity, perspective, taking knowledge, and yeah, going through the transmutation process into wisdom. The swords suit, right, definitely is at the forefront of these things. So when we have the Knight of Swords, we know we have an incredible thinker, very intelligent, sometimes almost to a fault, right? Because then we get on the, the cusp of somebody who can worry quite a bit, somebody who could, catastrophize, or even just really live in their mind all the time, right? They're not present very often in the physical. But we're going to see. We're going to see. So I'm going to turn this bowl, and then we're going to knock 3 times. See if they let us in. Okay, and we're going to see what the tea leaves have to say. And I want to thank you for deciding to click on this reading. It's always such an honor for me to be able to bring these messages to you. So, interesting. So we have the letters E-S. I want to say those out loud so I don't forget. We have those right here. E-S. And I want to start with the house up here. We have this house right here. Okay. Now, it does remind me quite a bit of the tower. We have almost kind of the lightning coming down. We have, it looks like the flames a little bit. So I have the distinct feeling that there has been some kind of turmoil domestically. It could be financial. It could be, the price of things have been ridiculous, especially, I don't know anywhere else, but here in America, don't get me started. I'm not going to go down the complaining rabbit hole, but my gosh, I wish I could. So, a lot of people trying to figure out how we're going to pay for everything, right? How we're going to pay for our food, how we're going to pay the light bill, rent, mortgage, whatever. So I feel like, it could be financial. It could be that there are just dynamic issues with other people that you're living with, your maybe your children or spouse or roommates, or maybe you have family that you live with, or whatever it is. And it seems like it would be compounded by, the financial worries, okay? And just the general anxiety that, we're all kind of having about the world outside of our direct lives. I mean, if you look at the news, it's just wild. It's wild, right? So We also have the number 121, 121. But I feel like this is where a lot of this is centered. Is it within the house or where you're living, or, you know, what you consider to be your home base. Okay. Now I'm going to keep turning this and we'll come back to that side because I want to look over here. We have a person up here. We have the number 7. And here we have somebody, we have a satellite right here. And we have a person kind of laying back looking at the sky with a little telescope-like thing. So I feel like dreaming. That's the big feeling I have. Now we also have the face of a lion. You can see the eyes, the nose, kind of that cat nose and the little mouth. Here would be the shape of the face. So maybe we have a Leo person involved here. We have quite a daydreamer. That's the energy that I am really getting. Is there's really this sense of being out in space, daydreaming, creating, just having this different perspective. I feel like this person is so different that, like, when you met them, whenever you're around them, it's like they remind you that there are different ways to live, right? That, like, you don't have to be doing the same thing as everybody else. You don't have to be thinking about the same things or, you know, living out the same story as anybody else. And this person, I feel like just being around them, it's like contagious. It makes you feel like you want to be more yourself. You want to do the things that you want to do. Now, I do feel like there's a sense of wanting to be heard, to communicate to the outer world. Now, maybe you're somebody that is like highly involved in social media. Maybe you are a creative. You might be somebody who, you know, teaches lectures, mentors people, whatever it is. I feel like you know that you have something to say and you really want to get out there and say it, you know, but you're looking for that right medium or mediums. Which I'm just going to say, go start a YouTube channel. Or for real, do it. My husband and I, you know, we both started our channels after we had our daughter and never thought they would do anything. And look at where we're at now. I mean, my husband's doing really well. He's just an amazing performer. And if you don't know who my husband is, I know I'm just talking about him like you should know who he is. He's Paul over at Dove and Serpent Tarot. And if you're in my orbit, then you're probably also have him in the, or if I'm in your orbit, then he's probably also in your orbit, right? You've probably seen his videos and stuff. If you haven't watched one, go check him out. He's amazing. But yeah, for real, start a channel. I don't care if you're just sitting on there talking about whatever. That, you know, my favorite channels on YouTube are people just talking about stuff. And actually, let me take a chance here. I want to shout out a channel that I have found to be really interesting. Now, I haven't watched all of this person's videos by any means, but whenever his work comes up, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna check this out. Let's see, what is the name? Okay. Of course, it's something that I'm probably gonna mispronounce, but it's Azalea Robinson. And the first name is spelled Azaeela. Azaeela, and then Robinson, as it sounds, in the traditional way of spelling. And I shouldn't assume, right, that this is a man. I guess I just assumed that. I don't know that I've ever heard the person's pronouns. I started a video. I didn't want it to play too loud. But this person, and I'm just going to go with he because I think, I don't know, whatever. But just talks about stuff, right? Interesting. Just kind of a bit of a philosopher even. And so this is all to say that, you know, start a channel. Just get on there. Talk about stuff. You know, whatever. You know, and don't assume people are going to watch it. But, you know, I feel like it's a great place to just get things out sometimes. Sometimes we just need to say something, like say it into the void, put it out there, and, you know, there it goes. But I feel like because we have that satellite, I feel like there's really this wanting to be heard, to get it out there, to broadcast it, right? But I think that it's important for you to be around people that make you feel, they don't make you feel. They have an energy that doesn't allow you, that inspires, right? Inspires within you, you know, the want to be yourself, to just act however you're going to act, right? Thankfully, also, that paired with growing up, right, getting older, you just kind of start saying what you want to say. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's, for me, I just say whatever I'm thinking. You know, I'm also neurodivergent, and I've brought that up on here before, right? ADHD and on the spectrum, autism. And, you know, among other things. So yeah, maybe I'm also a little bit more probably willing to just say things, you know, with my, you know, I have my blessings. And that's what I think of them as. But yeah, I almost feel like it's like you're breaking through, right? More and more. And getting to that place where you can just be you. And you don't have to worry about what anybody else thinks. Okay, now I do want to come back to this one because we have the arrow. We also have a horse. Maybe it's a cat. It kind of reminds me of a cat standing up holding the arrow. Now, granted, it is backwards, but we're just going to think of this as a bow and arrow that's being used correctly, okay? So we have a very independent person, right? The cat, it always is symbolic of somebody who is themselves. They do what they want. Not necessarily in a bad way, but if you think of a cat, if you've ever had a cat or been around cats, they will not let you hold them if they don't want to be held. If they want love from you, they're going to come and find you and tell you, hey, I want to sit on your lap and you're going to pet me. But don't pet me where I don't want to be pet, because then you're going to pay, right? They tell you when they're hungry. They eat when they're hungry. They drink when they're hungry. They'll let you know if, you know, you did something. My cat TT, if you all have been here for, you know, the last couple years, you know TT. She used to be in the readings a lot. She's a hairless cat. She likes to sleep in blankets. So I have them all over the house, like in I fold them up into squares. You know, like they're folded, you put them in the closet. But I set them on the couches and beds and, you know, around the house because she likes to get in between and make it like a little nest. Wow. If the other cat, our cat Pudgy, he comes and lays on top of those because they're puffy. And he's 17 and he's an old guy. He needs something nice and soft, right? So he has all these beds everywhere. Well, of course, she wants to be in the bed that he's laying on top of. And she will let me know. She'll follow me around the house as I'm doing my chores, meow, 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 letting me know That dude is laying on my bed, Mom. Go get him off. Go move him. So very, very willing to just let it be known, whatever it is, right? Very independent, can't force them to do anything. You know, they live as they want, right? So we also have a person up here. Now, we have a person next to what looks like a flag that's planted. We also have a smiley face. So I feel like this person, and I feel like this is maybe you, although this cat person could be you. I don't know. But this person is very focused on their goals, getting it done, being able to finish and plant that flag, right? And so I feel like there is a love interest here. I feel like there is a crush, there is a wanting, there is a desire. There maybe even is a little bit of a dalliance already happening, maybe some kind of hooking up or whatever. But this person is in love with the other person. And they are doing everything they can to, you know, get this thing to work out, right? So if this is not like a primary relationship person, maybe you are married to somebody else. Maybe this is somebody at work that's just really, you know, like has it for you, right? I don't feel like, and maybe you're the person going after this other person. I don't know. But I feel like both are on the same page, but there's something that is causing a little pause, right? And that's why I wonder if maybe this is like not a primary relationship. No, and also no judgment ever. No judgment. I just have to qualify that, right? I just want you to know I'm not judging anybody. I see all kinds of wild stuff in my readings and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, so having a little work fling is not the worst, although be careful, right? Be careful. We have also the number 6 and we have the word yeah, Y-E-A. But also somebody who smokes. Oh, am I allowed to say that? I always forget if I'm allowed to say the S word on the algo. Well, I already said it, so here we go. Somebody who smokes, maybe like a pipe or like a cigar. I feel like this person has passed. Like this is maybe a grandmother. But it feels like back in the day. Back in the day. And it says, yeah. So for some reason, this person and yeah. I don't know. Maybe you've been dreaming about them, but they are watching out for you. Here's the thing is that I wonder if you've smelled smoke recently and thought, like, who's smoking? Or maybe it's from a different apartment or, you know, oh, am I having like a stroke or, you know, what's going on? It's them. It's their presence. They're hanging around and you can smell the smoke every once in a while. But also, let me just say, don't be dismissive if you do smell smoke. Please check to make sure, you know, that it's not an emergency or something. But yeah, I do feel like that this is related. And I do feel like they have been visiting you a lot lately. Yeah. Just like sitting and smoking. That's the image, like maybe in like a rocking chair or something. Oops. Okay, so again, with yeah, Y-E-A. Now, we also have a person down here that looks like, and look, we have the chair up here. We have the person sitting in the chair. Now, we have a person down here looking up at the stars, and the person is up there like they're a constellation. So yes, I do believe that you have been thinking about this person. They have been in your dreams. They have been visiting you. This is in the happy face again. Yeah, I really feel like this is somebody really important to you. And maybe they passed away when you were young or like a teenager, and you still think about them constantly. And that's because you have like this soul bond. This is somebody that you manifest with in every life cycle. Now, we also have, it looks like the buffalo or bison. We have a bison. We have the number 4. We have, I have a sense of anger. Like, don't mess with them because they're gonna pop off. Like, there's no doubt. But I almost I feel like maybe that's you. Maybe you're the one that has this anger that comes up, and maybe that's really the work that's going on, is that you are trying to find other ways to react, or at least like kind of process through how you're feeling. So if you do feel that anger, you do feel that rage, it's not something that you're unleashing on your environment or the people around you or yourself, of course, but you're letting it, move through you and leave, finding other ways to express this anger, this hurt, this resentment, this neglect, this abandonment, this, whatever it is that is at the root, or the things that are at the root. And of course, if you've been here before, I'm always pushing the idea of sublimation, which is using these painful and dark and uncomfortable feelings and putting it into art, creating something useful with it, right? That's a big thing. Also, journaling, writing, creative writing, before I was doing the channel, I was really into primal screaming, because for me, I have a lot of stuff that I'm still and probably will always be working through, from especially my childhood, but also other eras of my life. And screaming it really helped a lot, especially when I would have those moments of, I don't know if I'm angry or if I'm like so sad, like just sad, so sad that I'm angry, just to empty myself of all of the feeling, to just let it go, to hear it coming out of me, screaming it out, right? That really was very helpful for me. But now I use my voice for my work, and, I can't, I can't, strain it like that any longer. But there are a lot of things, right? There are a lot of things that we can do. And I feel like, that's maybe something that you're really, within yourself, that this is one of my blockages, big blockages, right? The anger is one of the biggest blockages most of us end up having at some point in our lives. And so I'm not surprised when I see, this come up, even in people that you would think, oh, they're the sweetest, they're the, nicest and most well-mannered, even-tempered. It's so freaking angry, but they don't let anybody see it, and so we all have our times, right? We all do. Life is going to lead us in that way at some point, okay? And so I am proud of you for, looking at how things are going, reading, the signs on the wall and saying, hey, You know, I'm not cool with this anymore. This is not how I want to exist. To be in a constant state of agitation or escalation, or that sharp downturn that happens after you do. You get so angry, you see red and you pop off, and then immediately the guilt, the shame, the remorse, the why, how could I ever, these things that happen when we get into that state. And it's not worth living that way, especially when, there are so many tools for us out there to take up and to work some of this stuff out, figure it out, process it, integrate it, and so on. So let's go ahead. We're going to do our lucky numbers. Number 7. Number 7. Lucky number 7. 72. 85. And 85. All right, now we're going to just flip through these self-care affirmation cards, stop where it feels right, and then turn it over. We're going to take a look. Dawn of transformation. Today, I am reborn. This is the dawn of my transformation. This is the dawn of my transformation. Every time I see this card, in my head, I hear that song, the Age of Aquarius or whatever. I can't sing it, and I won't put you through that. But yeah, it's in my head now. Now it's in my head again. Dang it. It's a good song though, so it's all good. All right, Gemini, I love you. If you want to like the video, subscribe, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to head to bed here in a minute. I appreciate you. Thank you for spending this time with me. We're going to talk in a few days. Good night.